Hello guys, I am back from another video on today's deku was a super soldier. So we're gonna be skipping some of the parts, but specifically, Izuku was told by Aizawa that they're gonna be having a training camp. So after getting the supplies, Izuku goes there with the rest of his classmates. Some hijinks ensue, and they basically made it there. Specifically, only Nejiri and Ida were the first to go there with Izuku. So yeah, after the rest of his classmates arrived, they were pretty battered up after, getting chased by a gigantic monster made of literally the earth. So after they decide to get some shut-eye and also eat dinner, they basically gone to sleep. So yeah, that's basically what happened last episode. So let's talk about what happens next. So, the next day comes as Izuku wakes up in his tent as Izuku feels something weird. As Izuku just says this. What is? As Izuku takes off his covers, as Izuku sees that it's Nejiri. As Izuku just says this. Oh no. As Nejiri says this. Morning. Uh, Wait, Izuku, what are you doing here? As Izuku just says this. I was about to say that to you. As she says this. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I kind of forgotten my tent. As Izuku just says this. You could have just, you know, just stayed with somebody else, like, I don't know, the other girls. As she says this. But you seem to be more nicer to me. As Izuku just says this. Oh, fine, whatever, Nejiri. So, after having breakfast, they started training, as they were told by Zawa that they're going to be going to a specific part of the camp. Specifically, they're going to be going to the main cabin. So, after getting there, they see gigantic cameras and a large, what do you call it? Like, um, like security office, basically. Just imagine those ones from the mall, basically. So, after Izuku sees it, Izuku just says this. Wait, why do you have that? As the Wild Wild Pussycats say this. Well, we put it up so we can record how much you people, or heroes in training, have learned. As Izuku just says this. You literally just watched us suffer for like several hours while we were running for our lives from that thing. As one of the Wawa Pussycats say this. Yeah, sorry, but it was for, research purposes. As Izuku just says this. Either way, what are you doing and why are we here? As one of the teachers, being Aizawa, says this. Alright, we're gonna be watching how Class 1B is going to fail this. As Izuku just says this. Fail this? As he says this. Yeah, Class 1B is a complete, mediocre team, unlike you. As Bako said this. Why, thank you, Aizawa. As Izuku just says this. Why you call them mediocre in the first place? As he says this. Have you seen how much their group is? So, when Class 1B gets ready, they basically fell down as they started running off to to the training camp. After like a few, actually not a few, more like several hours, they couldn't even find the training camp. So after like a few more minutes, Aizawa just says this. Alright, we should just bring them in instead. Because these idiots don't know which direction they're going. As well, one of the Wild Wild Pussycats say this. Yeah, hey Izuku, can you try and pick them up? As Izuku just says this. Sure. As Nedry says this. I'll come with too. So, wait for a second again. So, Izuku goes into the forest with Aizawa and Nedry as they start finding the, remnants of, Class 1B. So, when Izuku goes into the forest, Izuku sees Ibara And Kendo, as Kendo says this, oh, you must be one of Class 1A. As Ibarra says this, nice to meet you. I'm really sorry about you know, our situation. As Izuku just says this, either way, you should try and, follow me. I'll bring you to, you know, over there. So, after bringing them through the forest and also encountering the monster, Izuku just uses his arm to just punch it in an instant. After the girls see that, one of them being Ibarra says this, um, how are you able to do that? And second of all, um, how are you, as Izuku just says this, oh, thanks to my appendages, my arms, specifically just this arm, is actually not really a part of my body. It's you know, wait for a sec. A prosthetic, and also my legs. They were cut off as well, so I had to get these instead. As Ibarra says this, so you replaced your arm and legs for what? As Izuku just says this, I prefer not to talk about it. Let's just go. So, after bringing them there, they also see the rest of Class 1B, as Monoma is still fighting Bakugo. Izuku just sighs, as Class 1B was told that they're going to be training the whole night because of their quote unquote, um, you know, problems. So, they're going to be training all night, while Izuku is watching, just drinking some hot cocoa. So, after seeing Monoma just suffer trying to train, Izuku just kind of laughs every time when he sees him just fall down or fails using his, quirk. Or quote unquote quirks. Because, he's able to, copy quirks. So, yeah. So, wait for a second. So, after a while, Class 1B finally gets some sleep. So, Ezekiel also decides to get some sleep as well, as one of them being Ibarra says this. Wait, you've been watching us? As Ezekiel just says this. Yeah, you're a bit interesting. I mean, you're technically maybe not really worse than us, more like, actually you seem quite capable. As one of them being Monoma says this. What do you think of that? Like, what do you mean by that? As Izuku just says this. I mean, at least you're not as annoying as Bakugo. As Monoma just says this. I don't know what to call it. Like, did you just compliment me, or as Izuku just says? Either way, I'm gonna get some sleep. So, Izuku starts going to his tent as two of the girls, specifically Ibarra and Kendo, sees that he's sleeping with Nejiri. As one of them being Kinoko, that mushroom girl says this. Why is a boy and a girl sleeping in the same tent? As one of them being Ibarra just said this. Wait, what did you say? As the tent is completely closed. As one of the boys being Tetsu Tetsu says this. So I'm guessing that Izuku is already a man. Pretty interesting. As wait for a second. As Monoma says this. Wait, what? Is he? Oh, I see. He has a girlfriend. I really need to get a girlfriend. As one of them being Kendo says this. That's completely immoral. Like, they're still in high school at uh um as one of them being Ibarra just says this. Come on, let's just get some sleep. And besides, you're already tired, Kendo. As Kendo says this. Sure. So, now it's finally the next day where they're gonna be doing the what is that thing again called? The bravery test. So, everybody's outside and it's almost, and I mean almost nighttime, maybe 7 7 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. So, as everybody's outside, Aizawa tells all of them that they're gonna be going into the forest at night. Like, super dark. so they can learn how to be more braver, especially Class 1B, like Aizawa remarks. As Class 1B starts getting a little bit mad at their so-called teacher, as Vlad says this. Either way, you should, do this. Besides, it's gonna be fun for you. It's nice to have a scare once in a while. As Izuku just says this. Um, kind of. As Vlad says this. What do you mean by that, Izuku? As Izuku just says this. What if somebody gets a heart attack or something? What are you gonna do by then? As he says this. Uh, um, we have a first aid kit. I guess? As Izuku just says this. Okay, whatever. So, Izuku decides to pair up with Nedry. So, as Nedry starts going into the forest with Izuku, they start encountering these like fake, literally super fake, like ghosts and like costume wearing students that are not participating in the in the actual like activity. As Izuku just says this. It's not even really scary, it's more funny than anything else. But when Izuku looks towards Nedry, Nedry seems a bit afraid. As Izuku just says this. Come on, Nedry, just come near me. So, Nedry comes closer to Izuku as she says this. This is a bit too close. As Izuku just says this. Well, it's better than carrying in fear. As she says this. Fine. So, after a while of like, going into the forest, I think it's time for them to just go home. Or as in go home, I mean go back to, well, you know, wait for a second. Going back to the camp. So, while they're going back to the camp, Izuku goes into another part of the forest because he seriously needs to piss. So, while Izuku decides to piss, Izuku feels something weird, like something is watching him. As Izuku hears a dart sound, Izuku dodges it instinctively, as Izuku sees that it was some sort of dart, specifically like those darts that are used for like animals to basically make them go to sleep. As Izuku uses his other eye, as it sees that there's something, somebody, as that person comes out of the shadows. As Izuku just says this. Oh, another member of the Yakuza, I guess. As he says this. You're correct. I'm here to I'm here to recapture you, my lovely Reaper. As Izuku just says this. Stop calling me that. As Izuku gets his lance, as Izuku starts charging towards him, getting ready to just stab him right in the chest, as he teleports, as Izuku just says this. One the, as he says this. Do you really think that you can actually beat me? I have teleportation. Now, become one of our old friends again, Reaper, or face the consequences. As Izuku just says this, consequences my butt. As Izuku just throws his lance at him, stabbing into his eye before he can teleport. As he says this, duh, you damn brat. As he throws it back at Izuku, Izuku just grabs it out of the air. As Izuku just says this, thank you for giving it back to me. Now, let's make you pay for trying to take away my only family in this pathetic world. Now, pay for your life. So, Izuku starts charging towards him. As many people started hearing the clashes. Wait for a second. The clashes in the air, specifically the sound of Izuku fighting him. As Aizawa arrives, including the rest of like specifically just one Wawa Pussycat, as they see one of the Yakuza members guarding that other like Yakuza member with the teleportation. As they say this, who are you? As he says this, oh, just another member of the Yakuza. So, I'm guessing you're Aizawa, the eraser quirk user. Huh. First time fighting you. as breathing out fire and coats his blade in fire. As one of the Wild Wild Pussycats say this, "Alright, let's fight." So, while they were fighting, they get an alert of what's happening right now. Specifically, on one of the other Wild Wild Pussycats, after seeing Izuku fighting this guy, she sees Izuku in one of the security cameras, as she calls in the other Wild Wild Pussycats and Vlad King, and also the rest of the other students. So, after arriving to the scene, they see Izuku struggling to fight this guy because of his teleportation quirk. As Bakro said this, "That damn nerd," as he starts charging towards the guy, as he smacks him across the face with his explosion, as he says this, "Ugh, my mask. Broken." As he says this, "Ugh, that damn bastard." Ugh. So, hey nerd, are you okay? As Izuku just says this, kind of. Damn, my spear's now dull. Now I'm going to make you pay for that. So, Izuku puts back his, wait for a second. Puts back his lance as Izuku starts using his gun. So, he starts shooting at him as one of the shots gets into his eye. Specifically, the wounded one. As he starts going insane. As he perceives everything as his enemy. As he starts charging towards Nedry. As Izuku just says this, "Don't you dare touch her!" As Izuku grabs him by his, head. As Izuku just says this, "Don't you dare touch her." Got that? As Nedry says this, "Izuku, are you okay?" As Izuku just says this, "I'm fine." As one of the teachers arrives, being Vlad King, as Vlad King says this, "Are you okay, Izuku?" As Izuku just says this, "Try and get this guy off of me already. Maybe get like quick canceling handcuffs or something." So, after handcuffing this guy and also the other Yakuza member, the wait for a second. The heroes arrive as they started, interrogating these two. Apparently, they wanted to capture Izuku so they can, bring him back to his old life, being a performer and a gladiator somewhat, and also turning him back into a murderous psychopath. After hearing of this, they decide to do the drastic thing, is by telling the Yakuza to go, F themselves. They reported it on the news, as after Overhaul sees it, he starts getting enraged. As he says this, "Those are my best assassins, that that Reaper just defeated them in just an instant." I seriously want to make that kid pay. I'm the one who gave him a goddamn roof on his head. I am the one who adopted him. And he dared defy me. His own, adopted father? Well then, I'm going to make him pay. I'm going to give him some stern words. So, the next day comes after the training camp, as everybody started going back to class normally. So, Aizawa starts talking about something important, about a hero license coming up very soon. So, after hearing of this, Izuku wants to get the hero license so he can, make Overhaul and Yakuza go to hell. So, yeah. So, wait for a second. So, Izuku decides to train a little bit so he can get ready for that test, as Izuku hears something, and it was not a pretty sound. It sounded like an explosion. As everybody started going outside, they see that the explosion came from one of the staff member rooms, as they see Overhaul himself with the rest of his goons, as Overhaul says this, "Izuku Midoriya, or should I say, the Reaper, come back to me." After all, I am the one who saved you. I am the one who gave you a shelter. I am the one who gave you that power. I am the one who gave you that quirk. And you dare defy me, your own adopted father. Now, pay, you damn impertinent brat. So, after Izuku sees this, Izuku decides to become even more angrier than usual, as Izuku tells everybody to get out of there because it's his fight. So, wait for a second. So, Izuku steps out of the shadows, as Izuku just says this. Hello, Overhaul. As he says this. Oh, sorry, wait for a sec. Sorry about that. Hello, my son. As Izuku just says this. Enough of the bullshit. I am not called your son or anything like that. As he says this. Getting ready straight to the point. Very well. Why do you even decided to rebel against me? Your own father. The one who saved you from that torturous, and I mean torturous life. You were bullied because you were quirkless, and I gave you a quirk. I made you who you are today. And you just thrown me aside. As Izuku just says this. Because you just used me. You used me. You just used me for whatever reason you wanted. You just wanted to use me for your nefarious deeds. As he says this. Because it's for the greater good. I wanted to save the world. I wanted to become a hero. But I realized that becoming a hero means sacrificing everything. And you know what happened when I tried to become a hero? My father died. As Izuku just says this. What? Not only my father, but my mother as well. I tried becoming a hero, but many of the people, specifically the sons and daughters of the heroes, they didn't want that. So, they used their quirks, they used their authority to bring my father and bring him to the death sentence for a crime that he didn't even commit. And for my mother, she was assassinated. I was left all alone, broken, and in the streets until I was saved by the Yakuza. I was saved by the people that was perceived as monsters. Even either way, you're not different from me. We're the same. As Izuku just says this. We are not the same. As he says this. What do you mean by that? I am the one who gave you that power. We are the same because my story was basically yours, but 10 times as worse. And I only saved you, I only adopted you because I wanted to become a father figure for you. As Izuku just says this. No, you just used me. Just used me for your stupid experiments, turning me into this monster. As he says this. You're not a monster. You're beautiful. You're one of my greatest creations. As Izuku just says this. Stop, stop, stop. I am no longer your stupid puppet. I no longer want to be your puppet. I am no longer your son. As he says this. Very well. Now, I want you to recapture him. So, all of his minions start charging towards him. As it's going to be the end of the video because, well, this is going to be a cliffhanger. So, yeah. So, this will be the end of the episode and I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.